Coaching is a business. How to build global business strategy rather than local one. Now, our next speaker, Alex Khrapov, will present this topic to us. He is founder of Headway Coaching Group. He is a professional certified coach by ICF and certified master-trainer, ASTD, ICF registered Mentor. He was born in Russia. Alex has lived and worked throughout his home country, in Sweden, in Switzerland, in the UK, Brazil, and Spain. And now he joins us from Spain, Barcelona. Alex, you are welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, guys. Unfortunately, first of all, I would like to apologize because I was not really ready for a video call. So I was preparing presentation. Usually I'm not really mixing kind of video stuff and presentation. So probably I will not be appearing kind of face to face, but at least I could share my presentation with you. Just a second, please. I'm gonna just load the presentation, and I think it's gonna be here. Could you please confirm if you see the slides? Let me just check. I see that chat window.
Yes, we can see slides. So.
Okay, perfect. All right. Yeah, okay. So I will be kind of quick and try to, as I understood right now, that in the end it could be some Q&A session. So I will be a little bit faster. Maybe we're gonna have more time for, you know, to discuss something which important for our participants. So the topic is breaking boundaries, and we are talking about boundaries to English-speaking world. Yeah, so adding, actually it's written here 1.2, but I did some additional research. We are talking about 1.5 or more billion potential customers. And let's see. Yeah, as for the checking system, we don't need to do that. And let's jump for agenda. So I know that we are going to talk about 45 minutes. And distractions, yeah, that's very important that people are really present, because I think if we are fully engaged in a session, we are going to take more benefits from that. And so I would like you to kind of to remove all those mobile phones and emails and all those notifications and Facebooks. And the rule is for today's session is just one: to be engaged and to be with me. And I'm looking forward to see that your mind is producing some kind of questions, and you could write it down. And if you have time at the end, I would be happy to answer. So we're going to be going through intro. I would like, of course, to introduce myself, because it's totally new public. All my activity on all my business, everything what I've done in the coaching world was in the English speaking world. So I really never, I'm sorry, I will be maybe using some marketing language. I was never targeting clientele which is inside of like a Russian speaking world. And so we are going to discuss 3 steps how you could break through those boundaries and getting into the new markets. And as you see, it's very going to be simple agenda: step 1, step 2, step 3. And in the end, if you will be up to the end of this session, I would like to make some gifts and presents for people who will stay to the end. And first of all, I hope you, I would like to ask you maybe if you are familiar with that abbreviation. If you do, guys, could you confirm? Because I really looking forward to have some more or less interactive session. So if you know what it is, let me see. No, okay. So that's it's one of the things which in English-speaking world you will see very often. What's in it for me? Yeah. So that's abbreviation, WIIFM. It sounds like a FM, some kind of radio station, but what's in it for me? So why would I be interested in that topic? Why would I listen, to you? And first of all, why? Well, let's look at the statistics. So it's just very briefly, of course, you could Google everything, you could check it by yourself. But if we are talking about English-speaking world, as you can see, the first row, that's English-speaking world. Actually, the first bar, 375, it's in natives. That's how many people in millions are native speakers around the world. And a little bit lighter blue, you see that 1.5. And again, it was statistics taken in 2015, so we are 2 years ahead. And by the way, statistic is quite strict. So the people, foreign people who are not natives, but they indicate English language as their first foreign language. So if we would be talking about second or third, or people who could just, you know, explain something or understood something, I think it's going to be a huge number. I mean, some people say it's about 30–35% of the whole world population. You actually can have conversation in English. So right now, as you see, let me just maybe to use my annotation tools quickly. Okay, just a second. It's going to take me a few seconds. And I choose this color and this thickness. Yeah, if you could see the Russian, yeah, that's people speak Russian here. 165 million natives and 275 like in total who maybe just understand and speak Russian, but it's not just natives. And you see what kind of market we have if we move, if we are able to communicate. So that's kind of simple consideration. I don't think you know any more need to be said. What does it really mean to add to your Russian another market which is totally global? And so that's the first thing I would like to say. And next one, somehow, let me see if my slides stuck a little bit. Okay, it's moving. Yeah, so as for the map, you could see, for example, for Europe, it's also quite interesting statistics. This is how many people can speak English in different countries around Europe. It's also quite remarkable. So, for example, Spain, you could see 22, or Portugal 27, France getting better, 40. I mean, the first country which I left when I left Russia, I moved to Sweden. As you can see, that was, to be honest, it was an obstacle because I was thinking to learn Swedish or not, but it's just incredible. You know, everyone, you know, from 7-year-old boy to 75-year-old kind of man or women. I mean, they all speak perfect English. That's quite remarkable. As you can see that all Scandinavia, like 87% or 70% and so on. So they speak really incredible educational system, you know, and I was fascinated, to be honest, because I learned English in school and I learned in university later, and it's disaster. Our Soviet Union kind of education was quite, I would say, I don't know, I'm looking for some kind of soft words, but it's totally out of target, I would say, because after I left Russia, I had a passive vocabulary around maybe 5–6,000 words. So I actually can read articles. I was doing like a nuclear physicist thing. I actually wrote articles already, and so I was kind of one-sided. But when I crossed the border and came to, I don't know, in railway station and tried to buy tickets, I couldn't say some simple phrases, you know, and when people are answering, I just couldn't understand what they're talking about. I mean, so we were kind of educated in a very, very narrow, specific kind of very specific way. So conversational language was never the #1 kind of priority, at least in my school. And so we are looking for straightforward, direct way how you could bridge that gap, you know, and cross those boundaries. And first, if you remember, according to our agenda, we are going to talk about myself a little bit. And let me just keep an eye on our time, because I remember that we have 45 minutes only. I need to be careful with talking too much. So about me, few words. Yeah, you see my picture. That's kind of simple. There are three sources which I think kind of shaped me. First of all, science. Well, I graduated from Moscow State University, and I was having academical background. So I did my PhD in nuclear physics, theoretical nuclear physics, and I did, of course, post-graduation. So 9 years I spent in that building. Actually, physics departments of physics is the closest to in the right corner, if you can see. And so this is the first part, important part, because practically half of my life I was, that was still Soviet Union. I was doing some nuclear physics researches, and I was teaching quantum mechanics in Moscow State University for a while. And after Soviet Union collapsed, well, there were strange times, and there were certain circumstances which pushed me to change career. I mean, one of that, it's like government stopped paying scientists completely, like nothing, and lots of my friends just left country at that time. It was the end of 80s, beginning of 90s. And another thing happened with me. For example, I got some health issues. I had some retina detachment on both eyes. So from overworking with my eyes, and yeah, there are lots of circumstances. I decided, well, after I got out of surgery, I decided, well, I need to stop with my nuclear physics thing, and I started my first business. Actually, I created it was cooperative, yeah, that kind of first type of business enterprise, which was allowed in Soviet Union, cooperative, yeah. So I opened the first cooperative in Moscow State University, and yeah, that was the first one. And it was quite successful. After 3 years of business, in 91 already I moved my business overseas. So I became co-owner of one of the Swedish manufacturing factory. So I moved, I was really happy to move business out of Soviet Union, because at that time that was really dangerous. There were killings, you know, all over the place, and lots of my friends really didn't survive. Yeah. So yeah, I was happy to get out of that environment. And as a result, I worked with Swarovski. I worked with, during that entrepreneurship, I did many different things. So 7 years after I being in Sweden, I moved to Brazil. I opened another company. I was marketing some devices for oil and gas industry. Then I moved to, you know, back to Europe, and in that time already in Switzerland. I opened the financial company, like I was actually buying and selling stocks online. I was a stock trader, portfolio management, stock trader. 15 years I was working on NASDAQ, and if you're familiar with that stock market, and other stock markets, mainly it's United States, using online kind of capabilities. So that was my, like, a long journey. And in 2006, 2005 actually, I think I hit some kind of middle-age crisis. So I totally lost orientation. Why I'm making that money? I mean, like staring in front of computer for 10 years and making those numbers kind of grow. Well, it just doesn't make any sense. It's a very lonely place to be. So I got in some kind of crisis, and I was in Switzerland at the time. So I decided to stop everything. I moved to London, and 2 years I was studying NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and that's where I just got so excited about that NLP and coaching. My school, it's NLP school. It's a big ITS, International Teaching Seminars. I had teachers, Robert Diltz, Ian McDermott, and yeah, there are really big names in NLP. And I had no idea about coaching, but my school offered a coaching course on the top of NLP study, and I became an NLP coach, and I loved it. I think coaching is just incredible, interesting, area of activity and business and so on. And I'm very happy that I have an NLP background, because I think NLP gives enormous amount of powerful tools for coaching. So it's like coaching become kind of very easy if you have an NLP background. Yeah, and after graduation, I was thinking, well, I had a lot of experiences in business, and how can I start my my coaching business? Well, I looked around, and that alumni, people who graduated from ITS, International Teaching Seminars, my school, it was like several thousand people, and I know a lot of them, and I asked them, guys, so how business going? You graduated already for quite a number of years. And I discovered that practically none of the coaches who graduated have any idea how to start business. That was kind of, wow, that seems like that's exactly what I know what to do. So I had, at that time, like 30 years, I was starting different businesses in different countries. And now I discovered that majority of coaches have no idea how to turn that certificate of being a coach into the real business. Being certified has nothing to do with business. Yeah, it's good for your kind of confidence. It's nice. You have piece of paper. You could call yourself coach. But, if you go on party, like in Barcelona here, I don't know, whatever person I meet, they're coaches everywhere. So to have a certificate, and to be honest, right now you have certificate during like 10 days course, and you already have certificate. So the business, that's what matters really. And of course, building your confidence and having your coaching skills, that's never ending learning. You will be doing it. And it's actually part of my kind of offer as in a coaching group, Headway Coaching Group. The main thing is how you turn it into the activity which related to business. So that was my, I started Headway Coaching Group as a result. And the third part, sorry, I deviated a little bit. I got kind of excited about entrepreneurship. And the third part which formed me, I was in sport for practically all my life. From 6 years old, when my father took my hand and kind of brought me into the football club. I did gymnastics and swimming and football, but eventually I come in love with the martial arts, and yeah, that's me kind of doing some martial arty things. So as a result, like 35 years, I'm doing martial arts, and that's those three things: science, entrepreneurship, and sport. That actually formed me. That's how that's my identity kind of thing. So after graduation from my ITS school, I created Headway Coaching Group. In the beginning, it was, I was, after Moscow State University, I was completely, to be honest, completely pissed off with the education abroad. I mean, that ITS, it's a good school, great. I mean, by all means, by all kind of evaluations from, other like foreign establishments, it was a good school, I cannot say. But from my perspective, like we are having like 4 days during months, they call it module, then they give you lots of homework, and all months you are working by yourself, doing some kind of exercises, and then you come again. So I had lots of 2.5 years of those modules, but that's not exactly what I think education is all about. So when I graduated from coaching, my coaching school, even though I was there for 2.5 years, I was thinking, well, can I really call myself a coach? Really? I mean, we did lots of exercises, but maybe once or twice. Does it mean that I really have a good skill already to mess with somebody's minds? So from my perspective, I was able to call myself nuclear scientist after 9 years of work, 14 hours per day. non-stop. What they do abroad is like they call themselves coach after some kind of course. Yeah, from my point of view, it was really not enough. So the first thing I did, I created Headway Coaching Group with the one only purpose, to practice. So I created, first of all, I created group, physical group in London, and we were 1 year, because I was still living in London, in Notting Hill area kind of, and for 1 year I was inviting everyone from my alumni, that alma mater kind of my school, and we were practicing NLP and coaching physically. So I was meeting twice per week and created the group. And after that I decided, well, okay, it's good, it's nice. 1 more year we are practicing already. It's better than nothing, because those schools, coaching schools, they take your money, they give you a certificate, and then after that, like, bye-bye, you are on your own. There is no help, no support, nothing. And so in my mind I was thinking, well, what do I need? I need support. So I created the company which provides that support, because I couldn't find anywhere else that support. And then I was thinking, okay, I need to, now when we have that coaching practice direction, and now I need to add the most important thing. People want to have business eventually. It's not about, it's nice you're educating yourself, you have skills, but what about real clients who will gonna pay you? It's huge gap between those two things. I mean, as soon as you're practicing and learning, it's still hobby. Well, as soon as you're not paid, it's hobby. It's not business. So then I created the second part of Headway Coaching Group. It's Headway Coaching Business School, as you can see. And that's, if you go to Headway Coaching Group right now, you will see that kind of, you see that building your coaching business from A to Z. So 10 years I am actually helping coaches to set up their business. And of course, because my target audience, English speaking, so everything what I do, I conducted kind of weekly seminars, webinars, and create coach. Still that coaching circle, practice circle still operates. I'm still in it, like 10 years already. I'm running coaching circles and at the same time kind of participating. So with Dmitry, Dmitry was my coach in that coaching circle, so that's how we got familiar. And in terms of my kind of career in coaching, yeah, I actually became PCC like 6 years ago, and I think this month, maybe not months, but at least this year definitely, I'm passing the MCC exams. So it's a big difference between PCC and MCC, because PCC you need to have 700 or sometimes 1,000 kind of hours. It depends on your route. And for MCC you need 3,000 paid hours. And yeah, it's more kind of, it really takes time. So between PCC and MCC there is a huge gap. It takes many years. So now I'm kind of practically MCC. I'm gonna go for exams this year. And another thing what I kind of come across too is American Society of Training and Development, because I discovered that just coaching was not enough. In my school I supposed to train people, and training is not coaching. Training, you tell people what to do. Somehow you really up to kind of, there are elements which coaching cannot cover. If I will be just coaching people to set up their business, well, it's going to take years. I need to train them. I know what to do. So that's what I do, is actually blending two different methodologies. I do lots of coaching when I take my trainer's hat off, and I do coaching, but a lot of work which I do in business school is training. So I found organization. It was now it's ATD, but before it was ASTD, American Society of Training and Development. Now 2 years ago they changed the title, Association for Talent Development, and it's a huge, powerful. It's a global organization. There are 60-something countries. They 80 years already there in the market. and enormous amount of it's actually trainers all over the world. And I got associated with them. I went through all the credentializing and all the career kind of, and I became master trainer of ATD, and I started to. They invite me to be a speaker. It's a global conference, like 20,000 people coming from all over the world. And I became a speaker. It was quite an honor because just 300 people all over the world, the best trainers, allowed to be a speaker at that conference. So I was in Dallas, in Washington, and like 4 years I was actually speaker in that conference. It's a global audience, and if we are talking about how you could get clients, you know, how you could get business, yeah, well, I mean, if I would be Russian-speaking only guy, well, no chances, no way to get to that kind of global events and to be a speaker. And so, yeah, as a result, the exposure and the scale of your business totally depend on the channels and the way, how broad you could bring your message. And language, English language, it's just allowing you to reach so much more audience and people. Yeah. So let's jump right now to that's about me. Sorry, maybe it took me a little bit longer, but I think maybe people could, yeah, kind of relate, because I'm Russian guy. And I had no idea and no intention to leave the country, but everything changed. And from nuclear scientist, when I was actually signed up, I was not allowed to cross the border because nuclear secrets and other things. But you see what happened. As a result, I really right now consider myself as a citizen of the world, and I don't really associate myself anymore with particular Russia or anything, because I lived in so many different places. And my wife, I got acquainted with my wife in London when I was taking course, and she's Chinese who lives in Australia, and she was doing the master course, master degree in contemporary art. So I am Russian who came from Switzerland to London. I met the girl who is Chinese living in Australia, came to London, and learning different things. That's the world we are living in. And I think we need to kind of take it easy with kind of being too local. I think it's nice to kind of see through those boundaries. So what would be your first step? Guys, I would like you right now to brainstorm. What do you think is the step number one of breaking those boundaries? I mean, usually, because I'm a trainer as well as a coach, I usually interact a lot with my audience, but right now it's more like a presentation mode. And that's why, you know, I'm kind of speaking more than asking. But I would like to just to check, start practicing in, okay, perfect, that's good. No English, all right. Stop thinking. Well, Alexei, perfect. Yeah, it's nice, very nice suggestions, especially stop thinking. It's kind of, I'm writing a book right now of entrepreneurial mindset, and yeah, like in that book there will be like 9 entrepreneurial frames, and one of the things is jumping into the action immediately and stop thinking. It's very much resonates with me. It's true. Well, thinking too much, it's I have one friend, you know, in UK, and we graduated with him together in 2007, and he's still thinking like, shall I start business or not? I mean, he's still collecting those as we say in Russian, like a pagony, you know, that's more and more certificates and more courses and more. He's already probably, he knows probably 20 times more than I do. But yeah, well, he has no business because he's still thinking. Well, I think that the first thing you need to do is really to come to decision. Are you up to that or not? I mean, your decision, I think it's supposed to be number one thing. Without it, without firm, clear decision, yes, I'm gonna go for it. Nothing will start. I mean, step number one, it's always inside. And it's not activity, it's not behavior. If you're familiar with NLP, like a logical levels kind of scale, first is decision and your internal kind of change. And what I mean by decision is a little bit deeper than just logical. Yeah, it's like you could say to yourself, well, yeah, English-speaking market is bigger. Yeah, I will go for it. But I don't think it's logical kind of conclusion or consideration is enough. I think we need to go deeper and to form intention. And there is a difference between decision, logical one, kind of consideration, like it's still in your head, to intention. Well, by intention, I mean something which is almost like much deeper. Yeah, like a physiology is supposed to be involved. Intention, in a way, it's like it's a so strong decision that you consider it done. So I am in it, no way back. That's what I am. Yeah? And so I'm adding English no matter what. And that's, I think it's important to form that kind of deeper level of decision, which is not just in your head, but some kind of somatic, yeah, in the body. And well, it's also very important when we are talking about your first step that somehow to see how it is incorporated into the bigger picture. I mean, in NLP, we call it future pacing, or how your goal. Very often you cannot, you can find yourself stuck when you're moving towards your goal because you really don't see how that goal is the part of your next steps. How that goal is the tiny small bit in a huge big mosaic of your life. How it's connected to your next steps. How that goal is connected to your high life values. That's what I mean by big picture. So usually when I work with my clients, and I always say that, guys, in order to make sure that you are gonna reaching your goal, you need to connect that goal to your deep or highest, I would say, life values. And usually life is like, if your life value, for example, like growth or connection, you could practically write down, the number of your highest life values. It's one of the exercises which I usually recommend for, I do it with my clients. For example, the first highest value, your connection or growth or professionalism, or I don't know, love, or whatever it is. And then you could write some kind of small essay, like connect that, okay, I have a global English speaking kind of type of business, yeah? So how it is connected to my highest life values. If you're able to find that connection, if you write down some kind of small essay which connects your goal to the, to your life values or big picture, it's going to be enormous motivational support for you to be, to see it through. Yeah, that English expression, to see it through. It's like to see it's happening. Yeah, to get to the end. And well, that's incorporating into the big picture. One, forming your attitude. Well, it's another thing. It's a huge thing, because attitude, it's involving the whole essence. It's not just mind driven. Your attitude towards English. Some specialists, some professionals say that language cannot be learned. It's supposed to be acquired or kind of assimilated. And I understand what do they mean really, because what language is, like a new language, you're connecting your neurons in your brain in different ways. You're creating new neuropath. It's actually physiological change. So that's why I cannot really, sometimes when I speak English, when I switch to Russian, I cannot sometimes find the right words. It's just different neuropath, yeah? And that takes time, and it's involved physiology. So it's a slow process, and the only way to do it, it's actually doing it, because it's not about, I told you that story when I knew like 5,000 passive words. If you ask me what this word, I know this word, I know. Then I go, into the real world, I cannot say anything because there are no narrow passes that kind of connected to the speech. So to be able, as a coach, you need to speak. Doesn't matter that passive vocabulary, it really doesn't matter. What matters is speaking, yeah. And so listening to the live language and and forcing yourself to say something, and not to be afraid of making mistakes, because it's inevitable. It's a part of the package. It's a part of the journey. And I remember in Brazil, I actually used to speak quite decent Portuguese. And first 3 years in Brazil, I had some friend, a lawyer, and I speak English with him, and he helped me everything. So my Portuguese was zero. And then, fortunately, one day he left. Yeah, just left. He moved from Rio de Janeiro to Curitiba, kind of south. So I was completely suddenly alone. I didn't know what to do. Well, that's the time that happened. I started to learn Portuguese. I get in a taxi, I need to explain. I go to my bookkeeper. My bookkeeper had no clue. He could not say even one word in English. And I'm not talking about Russian, yeah? So I was forced, yeah, almost like, with my hands, and trying to explain practically with the gestures, what I mean. But, well, after 1 year, I was speaking fluent, decent Portuguese. That's, guys, the only way. You could fool yourself. You could try to sit with some kind of, doing some passive stuff, but speaking literally with someone, that's the #1 thing you're supposed to do. And if you do just that, you're gonna speak language. So all that learning, kind of sitting in an academical, in a quiet room, it's a nice thing, but please don't put the main emphasis on that, because real language, it's physiological thing. You need to move your mouth and really pronounce stuff, yeah, within the real environment. And of course, you will be shocked in the beginning, because people will be answering you, and maybe you don't understand what they say. It's just a part. And very soon your brain will adjust, and that's the step #1 gonna be over, yeah? So I just want to see, want you to see those two pictures. First of all, it's a long journey. Okay, desert, maybe it's kind of a little bit exaggeration, but it's a long journey, and you need to be patient. It takes time. And second, that you need to do it you need to feed. You need to do it on a regular basis. Yeah, so it's like a growing some kind of plant or tree. So the whole idea is to do it kind of permanently, and be patient. Yeah, and as a result, it's gonna be, well, we are gonna move in already to step 2, and I already jump too quickly because I use that mouse with some kind of wheel. And it's dangerous for presentations, I just click and it's already, well, step #2 is, as soon as you have decision, yeah, I'm gonna do it. The strategy is, first of all, of course, you need to do your research, because now we are living in an incredible world. I mean, all that technology allows us to do, well, I mean, in my business, every day I'm incorporating new things. I mean, I will share with you maybe one day, if you join some of my webinars or whatever. But yeah, it's like every single month I'm changing for new technological things. And right now, if you do your research, there are so many applications. I know there are lots of apps how you could learn language, and there are amazing things you could do. But if you do your research how to learn English kind of in a speedy way, of course you will find some ways. There are lots of articles and sources and so on. Second thing, I would like you could Google the Kaizen, the Kaizen way. It's another thing which I kind of took on board for many years ago. And the whole concept of Kaizen methodology is to do tiny incremental things. I mean, the tiny incremental improvements, that's what matters. Because one of the things in terms of strategy we make mistakes is we are trying to do, 2 big steps, and I would say we are more focused on a result. We are aiming to result, and that's a big mistake, because we need to learn how to enjoy the process. If we are not concerned with the results anymore, everything goes smoothly, the stress goes away, and the Kaizen way is actually incremental improvements. Actually, the term came from Japanese manufacturing. Amazingly, that manufacturing in Japan, there are some kind of the methodology when they ask their workers to come up with some tiny small improvements which they could see. Some worker could come and say, if I put my table right now across this room, closer to the window, I'm going to be more productive because the light comes from right side. It's a tiny, for factory, it's not even a big change, but it's a tiny micro improvements which can be done. So that, worker going to be paid, $5 for that kind of. So every day they're receiving lots of tiny micro, improvements which come from workers. And that's over the years, the enterprise is changing dramatically, and everything done through the Kaizen, that micro improvements approach. And that's at least that methodology which I would like you to consider. So what is the tiny small thing you could do every day easily? Like, it's really not a big deal, like a 5-minute thing. If you start doing that on a regular basis, that's going to be already huge change over the time. Yeah, that's what Kaizen effect. And second is one of my favorite things, how I create new habits, is I'm usually trying to connect it with the already existing routine. So for example, a long time ago, I was thinking, how can I meditate? And I tried to set up certain particular time, like in the morning, half an hour, whatever. Well, nothing really worked, because somehow, it's things getting messy. And I decided, why don't I use it, something which I already do, and incorporate new thing into the old thing which is already working. So for example, I'm running, like 3-4 times per week on a running belt, like, I don't know, 10 kilometers or whatever. So I was thinking, well, that's going to be my meditation time. So I will not be just running, I will be running and meditating. Then after I decided this, it worked. Or you could say, I eat, 3 times per day or whatever. So why don't I meditate when I eat? So that's another way how you could think about incorporating English into the. So connect your new habits which you would like to install with something which you already have, something which you already you don't need to work about, and that's how, the step number 2 you could go for strategy. Another simple example, I was planning actually to switch into the window and show you. You could just Google. I don't want to do it because I know I'm kind of very close to the end of the presentation, and if I'm gonna do it, I will waste minutes. So if you just can Google that language partner or language exchange partner or intercambio language partner, you're gonna find so many websites where you can connect with people who would like to learn Russian and they are English natives. So one of the strategies, simple example, is intercambios. I mean, you could set up free of charge time with someone in UK using Skype, or those websites, you will see hundreds and hundreds of people who are looking to learn Russian, and they are English natives. So you could, get in touch with them, and half an hour you work, they speak English, you are trying to talk with them, and then next half an hour, you speak Russian, and they try to talk and understand in Russian. So yeah, that's a simple strategy.
Alex, 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 sorry for interrupting. So you have a very beautiful presentation. So I would like to ask our audience, so because we have the program and our next presenter can't join us, but he said he made a beautiful video with his presentation. So we have two options, by the way. So, and I would like to know opinion of our participants. So the first option, you can continue during 30 minutes. And I can send videos of next speaker on, okay, I don't know, on YouTube. I can do it on YouTube. Or we'll watch now the video of next speaker, because he did a lot of effort to make 25 long video.
Okay, yeah, it's up to definitely, guys. Yes. I'm sorry, my presentation a little bit too long. Yeah, I mean, usually
it's very useful information. So, okay, colleagues in our chat box, what would you like to do? Keep current speaker. Let's continue. Okay.
And Alex, how much time do you need to come to the end?
Yeah, maybe 10 minutes. Maybe yeah.
So,
okay,
Alex,
so.
No, Irina, let me tell. So, Alex, you have 30 minutes, but at 5 o'clock Moscow time, you should finish. We have Marsha Reynolds from the USA, MCC coach, and the video of next speaker I would publish on YouTube channel. So that's
Perfect.
Why nobody will miss anything. Okay, so you have 30 minutes for your proposal.
Okay, wow, that's unexpected and very nice. Yeah, well, okay. Good. Guys, thank you very much for your support. I mean, I supposed to be quicker, but usually it's one of the things. I mean, usually my normal sessions are 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and as a result, I try to kind of make it shorter, but you see, I'm off the time. So anyway, in this case, if we do have time, let me just stop sharing. I'm gonna show you some new share just very quickly. And let me see. Yeah, so it's gonna be, I think, this one probably. Oh no, just a second, guys. Somehow I don't. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so that's I wanted to show you that I just did. I wanted to show you that the strategy, for example, finding language partner. You just Google it, and I just clicked the first website, and what you see here is, okay, find the language partner. Yeah, Dmitry, okay, this is English. Yeah, but for example, Nico, he could speak Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, English, French, Japanese, and Russian. Well, and he would like to learn French, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, Russian. So he is looking for that particular set of languages. You see how many languages those young guys kind of learning right now using these capabilities. And if you scroll down, I don't know, it's actually lots of Russians here. I see Vladimir also wants to learn English and Russian. He could speak Russian. Yeah, there are different countries, and I see there are UK guy, for example, teacher. Okay, he could speak German, Dutch, Chinese, and Russian, and he is looking for Chinese. Okay, so here in that website, you need to scroll down and see who wants to learn Russian, and if they are English-speaking people, so that's going to be your partner. You could just get in touch with them and so on. So there are lots of different simple strategies which right now, thanks to technology, you could incorporate. And this is if you go to YouTube and you type the Kaizen way, and that's actually book which I come across, I don't know, 5 years ago, and there are 3 parts of videos here, and the guy is explaining what Kaizen way is all about. It's actually another resource which I would like to share with you. Yeah, and yeah, the Headway Coaching Circle, that's another thing. In the end, I will get to that, but right now, if I'm anyway have ability to show you the web page. So the Headway Coaching Circle, that's the place where you could use coaching, and it's called peer-to-peer coaching, or probably you are familiar in Russian. If you if you graduated from coaching certification course, probably you have that peer-to-peer coaching. And that's the first thing which I organized after I graduated from my school, because I need to practice. I need to learn and make my coaching skills really strong. So the circle, that's when you assigned with two partners. One is coachee, another is coach. And those partners, yeah, they are different countries. They could be all over the world. And enrollment, we have two types. We have a free of charge circle and we have a paid circle. Paid quite symbolically, because I really don't make any money on that. I think it's 18 or 15 euro for 3 months coaching. It's really not, it's like 3 cups of coffee, and you pay in order to be 3 months coached by a professional coach. The paid circle is just a little bit more advanced in terms of, we have a PCC, ACC, we have lots of really cool guys there who already 10 years or more. So you have really good partners. You could be coached by people who are already charging, I don't know, $200, $300, $400 per session, but they will be coaching you for free. I mean, because you are in a peer-to-peer kind of environment. So that's the difference between like a paid one and not paid one. And free of charge circle, it's a little bit tricky, because sometimes people are, well, they are enthusiastic, like, oh, I want to, and then because it's free, the commitment is not there. And quite often what happens is you're trying to reach your partners, they're not answering you. And yeah, that's a little bit of kind of messy thing. I actually introduced payment just because of that. Because first 3 years in my coaching circle, I didn't charge anything, it was free. But then people started to complain because my partner is not answering, my partner is not answering. I decided, okay, let me introduce some tiny small payment, but I will filter out people who are really not committed. So as a result, well, that paid one become so much more kind of reliable, I would say. Even there could be some problems, but I have a guarantee. I give guarantee to participants that if you're in a paid one, I will supply you with a new client, and I will try to resolve whatever problem you have. Okay. Well, let me just get back to my presentation. Where it is? Yes, here we go. Okay. So, and we are going for step 3, and step 3 is simple execution. I mean, it's like when I told you in the 3 steps. Well, I don't know if you maybe expected some kind of magic pill, that all those 3 steps, some kind of incredible things. No, they're not incredible. It's all about simple things. You decide, you strategize. Yeah, you need to create strategy, and you need to execute it. And of course, inside of those, like steps, there are some nuances. Like there are nuances how to make decision that you really follow through, how to turn your decision into intention. Or second step, like, okay, strategy. You see that I shared with you several things, like a Kaizen way, to make it incremental, incorporation into the existing routine, and other things. There are lots of tiny, small kind of nuances inside of each step. But as soon as we talk about titles of those steps, they're simple. Yeah, decide, create strategy, and go for it. There is nothing else. And in terms of execution, well, there are a few things. First of all, somehow make it daily. That's important. It's like when you learn something which is related to your kind of somatic, like acquiring skill. It's like, I remember some story where I read it yeah, I think the book was The Talent Code. You could check it. It's really amazing book, really cool. And the guy in the talent code, he gave example of one of the very advanced, I think one of the best of the world pianists. And that pianist, he's already like 75 years old, and he said, if I am not practicing one day, I notice it already. I know the difference. like the next day, I already feel that I haven't practiced. I missed one day. If I don't practice 2 days, my wife already noticing when I'm playing. If I don't practice 3 days, the people who are watching concert, they already noticing. So that even though he is practicing all his life, the point is that every single day you need to do a little bit. It's not about how much, it's about regularity, regular. So that somehow to decide, I don't know, I use some applications like a Duolingo, or recently with my wife, we decided to learn French, you know, like last year we decided, no, I was thinking about French for maybe 20 years. I love how it sounds, just the incredible kind of, so yeah, I can imitate actually lots of languages. And usually my wife is laughing when I speak French, like imaginary French. I just love how it sounds, but I don't know, you know, really any words. And last year in August, we decided, yeah, let's go for it. We have 1 month, and we went to Sancerre. It's like in the middle of France, like a heart of the France, with a diving into the language. So that school, they don't speak with you anything. They don't give explanation in English. They speak just French. It's kind of disaster, you know. For me, at least, first 2 weeks I was sweating and trying to understand kind of what they speak about. But after 1 month, you know, we could have some decent conversations already. Of course, yeah. Of course, everything takes, you know, time, and but routine. It was daily routine. Yeah, that's created some kind of miracle. And of course, after that, I supposed to create some kind of support for that. And my French was not right now priority number 1, so I deliberately kind of stop it. But we will start it again this upcoming summer. I was thinking about 3 months. And later on, I will think how I can incorporate that language, French, really to use it. Because if you don't use it, if somehow you are not really in a daily kind of attempt, then it's gonna fade away. I mean, that's again because it's skill which need to be in the body and need to be trained. So that's one thing we need to consider. How can I do things daily? And that's why that, for example, to have a partner, like to create some kind of structure, yeah? So, I will talk about structure a little bit later. Let's just jump into the connecting with something which you are very passionate about. Yeah, that was my strategy when I was forced to learn Portuguese, when I was left alone, you know, by myself in Rio de Janeiro, and no Russians around, no English. And well, I like cartoons. I really love, I mean, my favorite one is Kung Fu Panda, but there are lots of other things which I like, Incredibles and other things. I like watching cartoons. And I decided, well, I mean, I went in Rio de Janeiro into the market, and I bought DVDs and videos, yeah, in Portuguese, cartoons which I really know very well. I actually know everything what is said there. You know, some of the cartoons I could, you know, quote. I know exactly what they say. So I started to watch that stuff, you know, in Portuguese, and very quickly some kind of those words started to make sense. I started to make very quick sense, because I know what really people like cartoon characters are saying, but now everything comes, you know, in Portuguese. And I also kind of surrounded myself. You see that I was passionate about cartoons, and I connected it. I also bought some books, like Anthony Robbins, and some coaching books. One of my favorites, Carlos Castaneda, Teaching of Don Juan, and that kind of 8 sequence. I love those books, and I bought it in Portuguese. Like Eckhart Tolle, the book The Power of Now, yeah, the Poder Agora, that I bought it also in Portuguese. So as a result, I started to read stuff which I'm really interested in, and connected kind of that Portuguese language with something which I would like to, I'm really passionate about. So it's easier, it makes much more easier, you know, for you to learn. And surrounding yourself with English, well, it's just watching videos, watching movies. You could have some Russian subtitles, but the first thing when I moved to Sweden, that was the first thing I discovered. All movies which came not from Sweden, they watch it really in a real language. I mean, they do subtitles in Swedish, but they never ever do the full how it's called. I forgot how it's called in English even. When the characters actually already speaking like a full, yeah. As a result, the actors already speaking in your language, yeah. And I think it's a kind of big mistake of translating and making those movies into Russian. I think the population would be so much easier with English if all movies would be in English and with some maybe Russian subtitles. So I would recommend you to surround yourself with that kind of, you know, movies and watch it in a pure kind of form with a real native English, you know, actors. And yeah, that would be a great type also support for your execution. Okay, so if you are that guy right now kind of wondering and thinking, what shall I do? Yeah, well, that's how I see, you know, when you are about to decide, about to make that first step. And I just want you to remember that that's how, you know, the tree grows. It's a very gradual process. You cannot really accelerate it. I would not recommend you to learn English in 5 days. I mean, there are some accelerating courses, but I really think the easier, the slower, the better, because you just put too much pressure. And I think people who would like to learn like in 10 days or whatever, they just aiming for results. But I think, honestly, that we need to learn how to enjoy the process. As soon as you enjoy the process and you found the way how to enjoy it, it's inevitably you are going to get results. Results are not a point. And to be honest, learning language is never ending story. But if you learn, if you enjoy learning, then it's done. There is no way, you know, you could not reach the level. So find the way to enjoy it and be patient and gradual, and the tree will grow. So that's how I see the kind of the solution really come, you know, from, and that's going to be your direct way. Yeah? And in terms of gifts and support, I am coming to the end. Well, I think that it's all about totally different mindset. It's about seeing that, well, do I need to be locked in one particular market? Is there any way I could be citizen of the world? Is there any way that my business can acquire clients wherever I go? If I am successful, maybe I can move abroad. I mean, who cares? I mean, as soon as you are English speaking, as soon as your clientele is all over the world, you are not even locked in any country. Recently, I was in Sweden. Yeah, after I lived in London, I met my wife, and then we moved back to Switzerland. We lived there for a while, and after that, what happened? My mother had some heart attack, kind of, and some other things related to heart, and she was really bad. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna quit that Switzerland thing, and I'm gonna move to Ukraine. I mean, my mother actually, I'm Russian, but my parents like from that Kazakh kind of inheritage, and so they lived in Ukraine, in a Russian kind of area, Lugansk, Volgograd, that kind of very Russian kind of type of that minor coals kind of area, and I decided to move and live with her. For 1 year, I moved there, but guys, is anything changed in relation to my business? Nothing. Because from the beginning, I decided my business is going to be online. I don't need to be locked in any particular country. So I was always, from the beginning, when I was crafting making the business model of my business, I decided it's going to be not connected to any local markets. If I have clients, great. But if I don't mind, because right now I have clients from Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States, Brazil, all over the place. That's what technology allow us to do. That's how we could be mobile. So I lived in Ukraine, actually in Kiev. I was, by the way, I was thinking, okay, I am there. Why not to do something physical? So I went to Kiev State University, and I was in psychological department, and I was teaching their coaching in NLP and neuro-linguistic programming in university for 1 year, just kind of for fun. I really like physical kind of communication, but the whole business still is online. And after that I moved to Barcelona, so to Spain, because my wife decided to learn Spanish, and we were checking lots of different cities around the Spain. We were on the north, and Cadiz and Valencia, everywhere, but decided Barcelona is just an incredible place. It's a coastal, it's amazing temperature. Well, why do I have such a freedom? Well, because my business is online. I don't mind. As soon as there is a good internet connection, I have my business. So when you are thinking about your business, yeah, think bigger. Why not? Why not? And you're starting making kind of first steps right now, learning English, and after a while you able to set up your business in a much more global way. So it's all about your global coaching business mindset. Yeah, so what you see the picture. And let's talk about presence. Yeah, I'm gonna give to number one. Well, if you go to Headway Coaching Group, that particular, you can click on the, if you go to headwaycoachinggroup.com, you will see in the menu there is a coaching circle button, but direct link is this, so you could later see it, or just go to Headway Coaching Group, and you could apply for free coaching circle or paid one. It's up to you, but the gift is that I will do my best. If you send me a note, I will do my best to pair you with some coaches which I know already for many years. And if you have a little bit of doubts kind of in your language, I could already warn them. So I could arrange things in such a way that you will be 3 months in a coaching circle, working with professional coaches and improving your English skills. Yeah. So that's going to be kind of my present. And yeah, of course, it depends on your level of English, because if you completely cannot speak, then probably, well, it's going to be difficult. If you can, at certain type of level, we need to discuss. So don't hesitate to apply, for example, for free coaching circle, but send me a note, and I will make possible for you to have some coaching partners and at the same time English practicing partners. It's a great combination of two things, and that's exactly where I guess your passion and English learning kind of come together. I think that's you are not just learning English, you're actually learning English in a coaching environment. You can use it as a coach. You could hear how professional coaches using the language. There are certain terms, certain way of dealing with clients. There are lots of interesting things you will learn. I mean, Dmitry can maybe support my words, because he is in a coaching circle already for many times. I think he benefited from that, I'm sure. And so the gift number one. Gift number two is another thing. My main specialty, the thing which I do 10 years already in a row, is business set up for coaches. And my business evolved. In the beginning, because I'm kind of MGU guy, and I think that learning need to be proper. So what I did is I set up business in the beginning as an annual course. I really don't believe that you could set up your business in 1 week or 1 month. It takes really time. So my first offer was annual, and of course market has resistance because they want things quicker. They think they don't need year. So after a while, after several years, I broke my course into several pieces, and now I created a new structure. Like literally several months ago, I created business Headway Business Laboratory, and if you go to that particular link which you see right now, you could start setup of your business from the scratch. And I designed 33 steps. And my gift is that I'm gonna give you the first step kind of for free completely. So you could actually work on your business model. I could review, I could give you my feedback. It's gonna cost you nothing. And also we have lots of...
Dear Alex, before you show us the gift number 3, so I'd like to tell you that you have another just 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, I am finished. Actually, that's it.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's good. No, I'm watching. I'm actually checking my clock. So that's it. This is the last slide, guys. Sorry, I was kind of I got again caught. Yeah, you could connect with me. I know over LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. You could just Google Alex Khrapov or Headway Coaching Group, or send me direct email. Yeah, you see it right now on your screen. And that's it. So that's pretty much all my presentation. Sorry, I was deviating several times. Yeah, but I usually do quite conversational, kind of not strict one presentations. So if you have any questions, probably we don't have too much time for that. But now you could please take it out from me. I've done. So guys, thank you very much for your attention.
I saw one question from Anna. Do you have the database of English-speaking clients for us to practice to offer? So Anna, if it's still relevant.
English-speaking clients, like a real clients who will gonna pay. That is it the question?
Anna, is it still relevant, this question? I just pick up from your... Yes.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Well, it's a little bit tricky because clients are not just jumping to any particular coach. It's to find client, it's a process, and they first check you. They need to be familiar with you. So I cannot really kind of give you clients who will be paying to you. It's impossible. But you could do it yourself if you set up your business in a proper way. So I could help you to set up business so you could find your clients. Clients need to be converted. It's a process. So first they approach you, they see you as a stranger, and then slowly they start to trust you. They see how you work. And then it's a process. And in the end, they decided to have you as a coach. I cannot really give you client. It's not how it works. I don't know if it makes sense. Yeah?
Thank you, Alex, for this really wonderful and useful presentation and for your gifts.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Indeed.
Arina. Okay,
thank you indeed. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Good luck.
Yep, thank you.